Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew video. We're going to be taking a look at a figure from my collection that I accidentally destroyed by customizing the living crap out of it. Sinister 6 box set Black Cat figures. And I feel kind of bad that I customized the crap out of this figure. I basically destroyed the figure. I repainted it. I did a bunch of crazy surgery stuff to the pelvis to make it different. I modified the hair. I did so much stuff to it, and I just sadly ruined the figure, that one I had as a kid. So I had some remorse for it, and I decided to buy another one on eBay. And I also made her a custom display base, and this is kind of bad, where I basically just painted this all black, and then I painted a white V, and then I painted her thing. It's supposed to look like, I guess look like her chest, but I should have put like the little zipper for her suit. It actually does hold on good. I made these little holes on this thick piece of cardboard. Kind of flimsy, but you know, it holds the weight of a figure. And these are Lego swords here, where I basically just took a sword, I cut off the blade at the hilt, I sanded down the crap out of the hilt and the blade here, and then I cut them off, I super glued them on here, and then they stick to the feet really good. You know, we put them here, you know, she doesn't fall off. They're really good. They're like perfect fit for the feet after I sanded them down a bit. So I bought this gal, I bought this gal again on eBay, you know, because I felt bad that I destroyed mine. This leg's kind of loose here, and people say this figure kind of sucked and that it has a bunch of issues. So this is going to be maybe a three-part series where I'm going to be going over some aspects of this figure, each that are going to be tackling a different kind of subject. And each of them are going to be, you know, pointing stuff out of it. This first one is going to be about articulation. So when it comes to articulation, people only seem to point out this one flaw here, that she has this weird rotation here. And granted, yes, that is kind of weird. And she kicks out like this, which, you know, of course, that doesn't look, you know, human or realistic, yeah. But, I mean, pelvic area, the way it moves doesn't look realistic, but, I mean, seriously, balls on a leg? Like, people accept that he has balls on his legs, but people don't accept a weird leg bend, which, you know, I mean, people complain about that, but this guy, they're not as different. I mean, this one's so much more iconic because people love this body. So, the reason I think people think this body is bad is because it's not actually bad, but this, I mean, let's be honest, this is kind of really dumb that Toy Biz did this. They could have done so much better, but I just think that looks really, really weird the way they did that. But this body, from my knowledge, was only used for 3 figures, maybe more. I know at least only 3. It was used for, of course, the Sinister 6 box set Black Cat. It was used for the X-Men box set Rogue, and it was used for the Urban Legends box set Elektra. She came in a box set where the other figures are pretty great. We have Kraven the Hunter, which unfortunately my dog destroyed his arm, so I have another one. There's Green Goblin, there's Dr. Octopus. Most of these figures are great, and most of them overshadow Black Cat here. But she gets hate because of this alone. You know, of course, also because she's doesn't have sex appeal. I guess that too, because people think her face is ugly because of her hair. But I'm going to discuss all of this. And so I'm going to be playing a quick bit of footage here on screen there. Punch, waist, the leg joints, everything I've tested and showed, like, contesting against each other. Black Cat either surpasses them or is equal to them, you know. Basically, all of her upper body here has perfect articulation. Then everything below her pelvic area, all perfect. Like, that's like what you come to expect with Toy Biz. That beats all their figures. That's on par, if not better than them, like you saw in the footage. But people only point out this. No one ever talks about how great these are. They only talk about this pelvic area. That does look kind of bad. That looks messy, but the original one doesn't look like that. And by doing that, her legs are able to cross. I sanded them down, and also that's because the original one, her legs were kind of stuck, were locked this. This was like as close in as you can get her legs, but now you can move them in. So you cut off all the inside of the plastic there. I sanded it down and stuff. And while I was in there, I should have tightened up this leg, because this leg is super loose. I tightened this one, but I forgot to tighten the other one. This articulation is the most controversial part. But you know what you could do? You could just ignore it. Just pretend that isn't real. Just pretend this is all she's got. You can do the splits, or no, she can cross her legs. And probably the heaviest hitter of them all is she can do something most Spider-Man figures can't. Hang on. Her ab crunch in, line her arms up together. You know, she can do the upside down Spider-Man hanging pose when there's quite a lot of Spider-Man figures that are not able to replicate this pose at all. I bet no one's ever tried doing this before either, have they? Another thing people might complain about is she rotates up here on her upper arm like all figures do, but then she also has a separate rotation right here. And people think, oh, that's dumb. I don't like that. Okay, you know what you can do? Just pop her arm off, rip the arm off, take some super glue, put a little dab of super glue in there, take the arms, and then go pow. And then it doesn't exist anymore. You don't have to worry about it. It can't hurt you. It's completely gone. All of her posability is pristine. This is weird, but even with this, you might think, oh, you can't kick her leg out straight. I mean, you kind of can. You can rotate her leg like this, and then you can kind of kick like this. It doesn't look the cleanest, but you can sort of recreate her leg kicking straight out. There, she can sort of do the sideways splits here. You can emulate her doing the splits too. You might be thinking, well, that looks really bad. She has balls on her legs. Let's use McFarlane again, because McFarlane, people say McFarlane's one of the best Spider-Man 6-inch bodies ever. I mean, yeah, she has balls for her legs, but so does he. He even has these big divots in his pelvis right here to move more. But you know, no one ever talks about that because they both have weird, awkward balls on their legs. Hers are a little bit smaller, which that's the issue because they're too small and they make the pelvis look kind of weird with how small they are. But then hers are too big and they make it look awkward. But you know, that doesn't look bad either. She's able to replicate the splits. No Hasbro figures are able to do that. All I have is pretty much symbiotes because I don't have any other Marvel Legends Spider-Mans. Or Spider-Man. Spider-Man. That's as far as Scream can do it. That's as far as her arms can kick. This sucker doesn't even have double-jointed elbows. Single bend in the elbow. It does have rotation here. It does have rotation here. It does have rotation here, which that's nonsensical, but you know you can just break the arm off and super glue it and then you're fine. The arms can't go up all the way. Her neck, I mean, her neck isn't really much better. She has an ab crunch here, which, I mean, cool, it doesn't really do much. Her waist doesn't even have rotation in the waist. Doesn't have bend in the toe. Doesn't have rotation here in the shin. The legs kick up. Not really that good. Can't really kick out much. Her ab crunch actually is substantial. Rotation in the waist, too. You can have her hinge in different positions, like Toy Biz ones can. You can even rotate this to get different hinge angles. Whereas this, all you're limited to is basically just this kind of movement. You can move the forward back, but you can't have the hinge working the same way. Take a look at these guys. The arms as well. They don't even go up all the way. Hers go up all the way. Her hair blocks it. If you move her hair out of the way, the arms go up all the way. Her collar blocks it, but even with her hair blocking her arms, I mean, the neck has more articulation with a hinge. Looks down all the way. Her neck can't go back because the hinge. I mean, the pelvic joint is weird, but she can still do the splits and kick up all the way up. He can kick all the way up, but he can't do the splits. I mean, come on, man.
Come on, Hasbro, you suckers.
Her hair hinders a lot of posability, even with her weird pelvic articulation. Hers outclasses 4 of the most commonly used Hasbro bodies. So in that regard, she's better than basically all the Hasbro figures' articulation alone. So, you know, that's it for this video. You know, if you'd like to, be sure to let me know. I'm going to be doing a separate video that we talk about just her sculpt and paint and all that other stuff. So, yeah. This has been Articulation, and if you guys liked it, you know, be sure to let me know. And yeah, that's about for this video. Since we're not done reviewing this figure, I'm not going to do why, but either way, bye guys.